Welcome back everyone to my channel. This is me, Prem Kumar. In this video, I'll be talking about a very interesting yet very annoying question on a statement that I get asked often and often and often. Basically, my name is Prem Kumar. I'm a Hindu. I'm a follower of Sanatan Dharma. And one of the questions or statements I get asked often is, "Your name is Prem Kumar. You must be from India." And that's not just Indians or other nationalities. Even the people from Pakistan also ask this question, especially the people from area other than Sindh ask the question, you must be an Indian, or just pass the statement that you must be an Indian. Then I tell them, hey, I am from Pakistan, and people don't believe that, or they feel very curious. There are no Hindus in Pakistan, and all those sort of assumptions they have in mind. And this video really wanted to clarify and just highlight, how it works out, what does the life look like, especially in the work life in Pakistan. I spent most of my life in Pakistan, all education, and then of course my initial work experience in Pakistan before I moved to UK. So in this video, I really wanted to clarify, yes, we exist in Pakistan, and then there's a lot of other discussion I'm gonna walk you through in terms of my own personal work life, basically, how I navigated and how safe it is from work life perspective and opportunities wise. So I'm gonna give you a good flavor of what does a life look like for a Hindu in Pakistan, especially in the bigger city like Karachi, where there's a lot of opportunities, and how does it feel like. So in this video, stay tuned to the end. If you got any doubts in terms of do we exist in Pakistan, yes, we exist. I am one of them, and there are tons of other people as well. So stay tuned to the end. I'll walk you through everything. Before I get into my own details of my schooling, my career, my work progression and everything, just to give more highlights on how does the Hindu population looks like in Pakistan. So basically, there are a lot of Hindus living in Pakistan, around 6 to 7 million at least at this stage. Now, of course, there has been a lot of migrations over time, right after independence, especially Sindh province, and then during the Bangladesh creation, and then over the last few years due to economic, social, political, religious matters. So there have been a lot of migrations, of course, but there are a lot of Hindus still in Pakistan. And if you think of Pakistan and Hindus, around 6 to 7 million, as I said, in Pakistan, Sindh dominates that percentage. Basically, out of the whole population of Hindus, around 80 to 90% people live in Sindh province. And the good thing about Sindh, and the unique thing about Sindh really, is Sindh, Tharparkar district of Sindh and Umarkot district of Sindh are kind of linked with Rajasthan. So when the wars happened in 1965, 71, etc., a lot of people actually moved between countries on those in those wars as well. So that's one of the areas. And if you think even of domination right now as well, around 40 to 50% of the population in those districts like Umarkot, Tharparkar belongs to Hindus still. So that's a large population, and as I said, 5-6 million is not a small number. Now, if you think of percentage wise, of course, there has been a lot of migrations over time, so that might look like Hindus have decreased, but 6 million, 5 million, 6 million is not a small number anyways. Other important thing to highlight, of course, is it's not like everybody is rich. Like every normal country, every normal sort of community, some people are quite rich. Even in the Hindu community, some people are quite worse in terms of economic situation. But generally thinking, a lot of people in smaller cities are really good businessmen, and Hindus are really thriving and surviving in those situations, and they're really good, making good ton of money. So the point really is not like a marginalized community which doesn't have access to resources. So Hindus are doing really good. Of course, there are castes and different social classes. Depends on how much they earn, but generally speaking, they are not in a bad shape as the media might portray it. So that was just to clear some air on different assumptions people might have. Yes, we exist. I'm here. Tons of people out there. Now, if we think of the economics and then how does the work life looks like, because my video aim is to talk about work life, not necessarily religious part of it or other parts of it or life part of it. So to know how does the work life look like. So uh, some Hindus in Pakistan are quite well off. They got their own factories, they got their own resources, and they are quite business heavy kind of minded, and they earn ton shit of money really. And those are one of the rich people out there. And then you look at a different class, which is more like a something below the poverty line, and a lot of people actually in menial jobs, basically sweeper and all those very very small jobs as well. And then there's a middle class as well in between, which looks more after earning by doing jobs. And that's one of the people I am, because I neither I'm too rich, neither I'm too poor. I'm one of those who has to survive and find a job and grow myself. So that's sort of reality, and that's not like something for Hindus. It's like common across everyone. Now, if I think of the businesses, of course they earn money, they don't care, their life is quite settled. If they're living in smaller cities, there might be some issues, but again, large cities, large businesses, they don't care, they are really well. Now, thinking about the other sector I mentioned, the sweeper and all those, menial jobs, historically, the advertisements were out there whereby, the minorities, including Hindus and Christians and other minorities, they, specifically written that for sweeper and all those government jobs, you have to apply and you has to, but the court struck that down last year, I guess, and then now, you cannot discriminate on that basis. So that's small part of it. Now, if you think of the jobs and overall, how does it look like in Pakistan? There's government jobs and then private jobs, and government jobs have around 5% quota on federal level, like a federal government, and then on the provincial level as well, like 5% generally. So there are quotas for minorities, which includes Hindus, of course, for 5%, around 5% of the government jobs. And that's the government thing. A lot of people are actually doctors. My father's a doctor. I know a lot of other people, engineers, and a lot more in different fields, even income tax commissioners, and literally in all fields, police, health, education, everywhere. So a lot of people are already working. And then looking at the private sector where I thrived, and I think it worked really, really well. Thinking of the private jobs, of course, the big hubs are like Karachi and then Lahore, Islamabad, and thinking of the Hindu population itself, as I mentioned, most of the people are living in Sindh. So hence, Karachi is one of the major hubs where a lot of Hindu people actually work. And I can tell you, because I worked in Karachi for around 6 years, and I can tell you I never faced any single thing, any single problem because of my religion in my workplace. I can say there have been some discussions and things outside the work and maybe a little bit in work, but nothing like a problematic nature and somebody, discriminating me because of being a Hindu in the workplace. Of course, that depends on how good you are as a person and who you are dealing with. So to my journey, I moved to Karachi, of course, for my C education. I had a lot of friends. I'm still friends with a lot of them, and then most of them are actually Muslims. I made quite good friends with them. Never had an issue because of religion. Nobody really talked more about that part of it. We are all thriving for our own chartered accountancy, and literally never a single time anybody said anything, and so I never felt anything due to my religion. Then talking about the workplace, now see, it may differ for different people. There have been some issues in past. You might, if you see the media, there have been some horrible stories over time linked to non-Muslims in Pakistan. Those are rare exceptions. These things happen sometimes because of different reasons. But if I think of myself and some of the bigger companies, bigger corporations, bigger names, multinationals, those people and those companies have processes in place, systems in place, and they are quite appreciative and quite recognizing the merit, including non-Muslims, including Hindus, of course. Now, I worked in EY, I worked in HPL. Both of them were big names. I never faced any single problem. The batch I had when I joined EY, I'm still connected with a lot of them. Quite good friends. All of the people have moved across different places in the world, and really good friends out there. Nowhere in my work life I ever felt I can't be myself. People celebrated Holi with me in my teams, which are Muslims. Even there were some people not conservative Muslims, like proper following their religion. Those people also never try to force their beliefs. Really, I mean, they did talk about why Islam is good, etc., in their conversations. But if you believe strong, it doesn't really matter. So the purpose really is, yes, the environment is quite different. You might feel like sometimes, yes, people are trying, but again, if you are strong in faith, there's nothing sort of discrimination or somebody demeaning you based on religion. And I never felt a lot of opportunities I got from my EY job, like my secondment, it was on merit. I got recommendations for different other secondments on merit, job recommendations on merit, my career progression, promotions every single year on merit. So nothing like discriminatory that really happened. And I can really say the workplaces, especially big companies, don't care a lot more about your religion. They care about merit, how good you are performing, how qualified you are, and that really struck out. And if you think of my all my friends, as I said, I'm in contact with all of them. None of them really said anything or behaved in a different way just because I'm Hindu. Even I'm a vegetarian, everybody was quite respectful of that. Of course, we are friends, we make jokes, but nothing like offensive or anything. So that gave me comfort, and my work life was quite good. And then, of course, I joined HPL, again, a different company. In that process, I interviewed at different places, big companies, small companies. And big companies interviews never faced any sort of situation or any discussions. Even HPL, I joined a lot of friends. Pretty much everybody was Muslim there, only Hindu. The point really is, the big companies and those corporations already have a lot of Hindu population working there, so they know how the cohesion works and everything. So nobody really um, feels discriminated or demeaned. So the overall purpose of making this video and really clarifying is, yes, we exist, we thrive. There are issues, of course, outside the work. There are a lot of issues for everybody, not just Hindus, for everybody in different ways and forms. We feel those, especially those in smaller cities, and somebody who's not well off enough. They feel those issues, but it's not like it's the no go for Hindus in Pakistan. We're surviving, we're thriving, and a lot of people are getting really good opportunities. I'm coming from a very small city. My family was from Tharparkar, and then we moved to Umarkot district, again Hindu dominated districts, and then I moved to Karachi. I moved to UK, got all the opportunities, qualified in time, and there was everything available for me to thrive, and nobody was just discriminating me because I'm a Hindu. So basically clearing the confusion out there. We are there, we thrive. Issues will be there, but again, that's for everybody, not just for us. Hopefully somebody who doesn't have the clarity enough yet now, hopefully will be able to get some clarity now. Thanks so much.